So it's a lovely morning here. The sun is starting to shine, bees are getting out, getting active, bringing in pollen, which is a great sign to see. It's the first, well, it's not the first sunny morning, but it's the first sunny morning I've been here to actually see the hives getting active, and to see that they are bringing in pollen. So I'm just out here walking around. I'm going to have a quick dip into one or two of them that I fed, just to see how they're getting on, and if they need to top up on that, and just see that they are taking down the feed I gave them. This is actually a sugar block that I made up back in January. This colony was, well, I was a bit concerned about it because, again, it was actually a queen that I had put into a colony that I wanted to re-queen, and I'd taken a split off it. I'd actually taken the old queen off, and I've kept her in an out apiary. But yeah, the queen then decided, we got a heat wave in September, and she decided that she was going to swarm. She was only a week in the colony, and she swarmed off with the majority of the bees out of the original box. So I just rehived them in this bellow box for the winter. They're happy enough down there. They actually are not really short of stores, but I just put a block on. They're starting into it now. So. Nuke here. It's quite a strong one. We'll just see. Yes, they're up there, and looks like we'll just have a look here and see if they're. I put this on. Yeah, look at them. You can see they're making a good start on that fondant. But that'll hopefully get them through now until the end of this month, and then we can evaluate then where we're at for April. I mean, obviously the hope is that the weather changes significantly now over the next week or so, and we can see a huge change in the activity levels of the colonies. Brood, hopefully the first round of brood will be hatching now at around this stage. Some of them may have started brooding a bit earlier, but I'd like to think that in the majority of them anyway, the first round is beginning to hatch now, and we'll be getting a second round over the next week or so. and so we should start seeing a bit of growth in the colonies. But obviously if the weather is poor, or continues to be poor, you know, that growth is not necessarily going to do the colonies any favours if they can't get out and start bringing in resources. So that's why it's important just to keep the feed on them, especially those that you think are light. There's still obviously a chance of the weather being cold as well as being consistently wet, as it is here at the moment, and obviously if it goes cold again, that's another could be a damaging factor if the colonies have expanded, kind of you know, stretched their limits in terms of where the queen is brooding. But certainly just from kind of quick looks in some of the colonies there isn't a whole lot going on, to be quite honest with you, in them. That's what I see here. Other parts of the country, they might be getting a different experience, but certainly what I have going on here at the moment anyway is fairly low levels of brooding and minimal colony activity. It's early enough in the morning still, but there's a little bit of activity there and there's a bit of pollen coming in, so that's a good sign. Later on, probably around midday, there will be a flurry of activity, we hope anyway, if the sun keeps up. So I don't think I'll be able to show you later on, but it's a great sign to see. I was up in Dublin yesterday and the dandelions were actually in full flower up there. We're not seeing any sign of dandelions yet coming into flower here. Well, there's a few, one or two, and actually the bees are finding them out and are on them. But yeah, dandelions were in full flower up in Dublin yesterday, so it was interesting just to see, because of course the weather was a lot better than it is here in the Midlands, and I could imagine that there was great activity from hives up around the Dublin area. So you know, there's even within you know, small country like Ireland, there is a variation you know, in the seasons for different beekeepers. So you know, what we have here in the Midlands at the moment is just, I mean, the last number of weeks it's just been horrible to put it mildly, you know, with wind and rain, and it hasn't been overly cool, but cool enough that the bees are definitely not really that interested in going out. There is some activity obviously, but it's, you know, not near what you might like to see at this time of the year. It's the 29th of March today, and well, in between showers there's a nice little bit of sunshine, and the bees are very active, or were very active earlier on. It's now late on into the afternoon, it's getting cool again, so flying activity has gone back down, but plenty of pollen coming in at the moment. I arrived back from the Netherlands there yesterday, and I came out walking among the hives here, and noticeable difference in activity compared to last week before I left. So it's good to see plenty of pollen coming in now, so hopefully that will be, or it is, kind of on the upward movement, and we will see colonies expanding now quite rapidly, hopefully, because up to now, really, by and large, we're just having attrition in the colonies, and colonies are getting smaller, but we're going to see growth now, hopefully, going forward, and as we come into April, then we're going to start getting into the colonies, because the weather should hopefully be improving, and temperatures coming up a good bit more, and please God this rain will hold off for a while then, and the bees can actually get out and work and collect. The dandelion crop should be coming hopefully to us soon. I'd like to think in the next week. I mean, there are some blooms out and the bees are working them, as I've said, but we're nowhere near the levels that we get over the east of the country at the moment. So yeah, we're about 2 weeks behind nearly compared to the east of the country. So yeah, so the rush is going to start. Well folks, just to close it off there, the sunny weather didn't stick around for too long. Unfortunately, the very next day it was back wet again, and today is the 23rd of March, and there was even a bit of sleet today, so I'm back to heavy rainfall earlier on in the day. There was a bit of sun, but there was a very cold wind blowing, so there wasn't much activity out of hives today. But thanks for watching, and you know, if you like my videos so far, just like and subscribe. It doesn't cost anything to subscribe, but it helps me out, and it lets me know what sort of content is liked for these videos. So if you can just give a thumbs up if you like the video. But yeah, we'll see you in the next one. Okay, thanks again.